welcome back to my channel. It's Ren. On the way in, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It's the easiest and the freest way to support your girl, so go ahead, get the clicking below. My apologies that the angle keeps changing. I definitely don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying anyway. So just support your girl anyway. Give me some love. Let me know how it's going for you. Is it annoying? Is it like, girl, get it together? Like, what's your thought process on this? But so clearly this is the same car ride home. So what I want to talk about today, or at this point, is I just spoke on women who are in their masculine energy. So now I actually want to flip it and talk about men who are in their feminine energy. And by men in their feminine energy, I'm referring to heterosexual men. I don't know the terms they use these days. It's far too many for me to keep up with. I love everybody, to each his own. Do you like it? I love it. But anyway, so when it comes to men who are operating out of their feminine energy, I actually think it's a lot more detrimental than women who operate in their masculine energy. At least with women who are operating in their masculine, they're getting stuff done. They're honestly killing the game. They may not be thriving in the relationship department, but they're definitely killing the game in all the other ways. So shout out to us for being multifaceted and all that good stuff. But that's not what this video is about. Men who operate in their feminine energy, it's definitely a different ballpark, because I feel like most men who operate in this way don't realize that they're operating in this way. And so that can be problematic, because a lot of times they're thinking that they're these macho men, but many of their experiences are ran through the lens of being in their divine feminine, to be quite honest. And as we know, men are visual creatures. They don't realize that they're operating in their feminine. And it's interesting, because a lot of times, a lot of the women that they deal with also don't realize that they're operating under this energy sector. And it's easy to not notice, because they can just say, oh, he just cares about this. He's just prioritizing this, prioritizing that. Meanwhile, she's holding all the weight on her back while he gets to bask and nap and do all these things. There's nothing wrong with napping. Everybody can nap. We're all humans. Like, don't think that I'm saying that napping is a feminine quality. Napping is a quality for people who need to nap because they're tired. My daddy napped all the time, and he was as masculine as they come. But and I guess I wouldn't say he was napping. He would just fall asleep because he worked so hard. So that's to me even more masculine, to be quite honest. When a man is operating in his feminine energy, it can be detrimental to your situation, because for me, in my experiences, it led me down a path that I really had to dig myself out of. Like, beyond being in the bando, my credit tanked entirely. I lost my home. I was about to lose. I did end up losing my vehicle. My car did get repoed. Eventually, they found me because I was running. But nevertheless, some things you can look for to see if your man is operating in their divine feminine energy. Personally, I did a Google search, because, and so obviously just take this with a grain of salt. But I was looking up what traits would, qualify under a man that's in his feminine energy. So it was saying things like, oh, he's compassionate, he's nurturing, he's more sensitive, things under that umbrella. But from personal experience, I'll say that was not the case at all. Honestly, in my case, and this obviously could be very specific to the persons that I was with, and not a blanket across everybody. Nothing I say is ever a blanket across everybody, because all of nothing exists nowhere. In my experience, these men were not compassionate, they're not empathetic, they're not nurturing, they're none of these things. I think basically what the internet is thinking when I say, the feminine energy, they're just thinking of a lot of these positive qualities. I'm not saying that they don't have positive qualities, but I would definitely say that that's not what was shining in these people. And it's probably because we were all in our wounded states, both of us, him and I. But it was more so just a full reliance upon me, upon the people that was around them. Like, for example, with one of my exes, if I wasn't taking care of him, either his sisters or his mama was taking care of him. And if it wasn't one of them, he just found some other girl to take care of him. You know what I mean? So it was never like they heavily relied on the women in their lives for sustainability. Heavily relied. And I'm not saying that a man can't rely on a woman, but for a man to get in a relationship, I think that it's important that both parties are able to uplift and bring together a cohesive situation that doesn't lead to our demise. And so even when the roles, not the roles are reversed, but when the roles are where they typically are, where the woman is the feminine and the man is in the masculine in these hetero situations, even in those situations, it can be like a completely kept woman, but she still has her roles to complete. And I'm not saying that these are required. However you guys so choose to run your household, that's fine and dandy. But when men are often in their feminine energy, it's more so you just take care of everything and I'm gonna just chill over here and play my game. That was my experience. And as I mentioned in my last video about women in their masculine, for me, my ex, he used to cook, and that does not make him feminine, but it was the fact that that's all he had to offer. I guess I won't say that's all he had to offer, but that was the one way that he contributed to the relationship. And I'm not saying that that's not worth something, but I was doing all the heavy lifting. I was doing all of the heavy lifting, like literally from paying the bills to bringing in the money to pay the bills, to make sure that the bills were paid on time, to make sure that we had all of our necessities, to make sure all of these things. And these are all just poor decisions on my behalf. let's not act like I'm in no way acting like, oh, shame on him. That was me who chose that. Even though I didn't mean to choose that, that was me who stayed in that. So my own fault. It's all cool, all dandy, because blessings grow from things like that. I think they're often really focused on their image, and it's nothing wrong with being focused on your image. I think there's just levels to everything, because from what my experience was, it's like it was like they were always competing, like wanting to be prettier than me. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with looking nice and put together, but you don't have to turn up your competitive nature for me, because I'm a woman. I'm on your arm. So we can look good together, but you don't have to go out of your way to try and outdo me. So that was the type of stuff I was dealing with that it's really off-putting, and it really messes up the polarity and the attraction in these in these relationships, because if you always get one-upped by your man's because he just wants to he wants to be the baddie that he is. He wants to be the baddie that he is, then it's like, it makes it not as fun, because it's like everything's just a competition. And it's enough competition, woman to woman, man to man, to be having it in your own household. Like, that's beyond me. But I'm sure there are different ways that you can spot out when men are in their feminine energy. And sometimes sometimes it's the most macho man that comes through, and it's a mask. Kind of like how the loudest one in the room is typically the most insecure. It's like that type of energy where it's just like, oh, I'm such a man. I am man, hear me roar. And it's like, okay, who you trying to prove that to? Me and yourself, because I see you're a man. I'm not arguing with you, buddy. Not arguing with you, but like they'll go out of their way to like prove their manhood, and it's all really just in their heads, because ain't nobody thinking about them in that way. Or at least I'm not. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm not thinking about people in that way. And like, I just see people for as they show up as, and not necessarily as, oh, well, he has this, so he must be real manly. No, that doesn't mean anything. Because I mean, all of us can do performative anything. Performative femininity, performative masculinity, performative anything. Like, you can be so performative under any umbrella that you so choose. And I think it's interesting that people who operate under these facades, I don't know if they just don't notice that we can notice these things, but I mean, maybe it's because it worked so well in other situations. I don't know. You like it, I love it. It's something that we should steer clear from, and that's on both sides. So I know I probably didn't mention that in my last video as far as women being in their masculine. We should also steer clear from that because, I mean, it's repelling to actual divine, like it's repelling to the masculine. And so, but when you're in your masculine, that's why you keep attracting feminine men. Polarity just works that way. So when you heal and do the work that you got to do and you're embodied in your feminine, you'll attract your reciprocal as the masculine. But when you're in the masculine, you're still going to attract your reciprocal, but in that case it's the feminine. So yeah, we have to be mindful of the energies that we're operating in, because polarity will come and hand us the other side of that coin. So let's make sure that we're getting handed the things that we want. Obviously all things easier said than done, but we're going to do the work. We're doing the work in order to show up that way and no longer let the odds be stacked against us just because of something we don't know. And unfortunately, we don't, until we know it, we don't know it. And we don't know that we don't know it. So, you know, just be kind to yourself. Have the compassion that you would give your little self or your little sister or your child or something like that. Give that same compassion to yourself and know that from here, it's up. It's just up from here. This is definitely a track that we don't want to get stuck in. Reasons why it's so important to heal, because we won't attract these people, and even if we do attract these people, we won't entertain them because we're just not a match. Learn to walk away when we see what's not serving us, and don't allow ourselves to be pulled down by anybody, because as I mentioned before, a woman in her masculine, she gonna get some stuff done, but a man in his feminine, unfortunately, they can take you down. And even though I honestly don't even think it's intentional that they pull you down so hard. Maybe that's just me being ignorant or giving grace. I don't know. But I can't imagine someone intentionally pulling someone down to such heavy extents and then watching them do it like, like, yes, more, ruin their lives. Like, I can't imagine that to be the case. But you never know what people are thinking. So you only can see what people are doing, and hopefully you can react accordingly. Unfortunately, I did not, and that's why I'm up here trying to save people, because that was a good, I'm not gonna say I wasted my 20s, but that was all times that could have been spent differently. But it was spent exactly as it was supposed to, because it led me down a very deep path of self-love, healing, finding God, all of this stuff, and it just kind of kept compounding. So as I mentioned, I will always thank him for being who he was and exactly as he was, because a lot of time growth doesn't come from a bunch of good times. You're just basking in it. But when you in pain, nah, you be like, I gotta get up out of here. I'm out. So yes, I just wanted to touch on that. If you made it to the end, go ahead, leave some balloons and some bubbles and let me know that you are here with me, because I'm here with you. If you forgot on the way in, it's okay, I forgive you. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe now. That way you can get in on all the goods. Go ahead or hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I post. And